Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Today we will be discussing that how we can remove the duplicate records from the table. So let me first clean up my system by dropping the table if it already exists. Okay, it doesn't exist. Let's create the table first. Tutorial marks, which is having a column as student ID, student name, student department and marks. And then we will insert some of the records so that we can perform our delete activity to see if it works. Okay, let's see now what we got. All right, so in this table we have one duplicate records with student ID as one. So to delete these records we first have to identify which is our duplicate records. To identify that, we have written some inner query which will help us to filter out the student ID which is duplicate. So if we execute this, we got to know that student ID 1 is duplicate, and hence we will be deleting this records and we'll see what we got. Okay, so two records are deleted, and if we now fetch the data from the table, we see that our duplicate records has gone. But here is one problem, like generally in requirement we want to remove the unique, we want to keep the unique records, and if duplicate then we want to remove the records from the second one onwards, right? So to do that, again let's clear this table. We'll create again and then we'll insert the data again, and let's see, we got things again. Yeah, cool. So now we have again duplicates with us. Now we will try to keep the unique records. So I have written down some queries already. So in that case, in some database, row ID are supported as the internal keyword, so that we can use that row ID to distinguish. But in some database it is not available, and hence we will try to add one row ID to the existing table. So let's add this row ID and we'll see what we got here. All right, so we got the row ID, but the data which is fed to this row ID is null. So what we will do now, we will write an update statement to enter this row ID with row number. So I have written a CT table. We are using that in order to get the row number. So if we execute this inner query, we will see that we are getting this row count as 1 2 3 4 6, and for even for duplicate records we are getting the different row count. So this will help us to identify which one we are going to remove. Okay, now in the next step what we have to do is that we have to find that what is the row ID which is unique, and then we will write not in command to remove those ununique number. So currently we have not updated it, and hence it is showing me this row ID as null. Here we can write the student ID to see what is our maximum student ID. So okay, let me keep that as, instead of row ID, yeah, let's keep, okay, sorry, I just went to the delete statement. So here we can see that there the row count is actually numbering the row number, and then we will update this row ID with this row count and to perform the delete statement. So if I execute this, okay, it's okay, I have to select this from here to consider the CTE in my inline query. So we can see that all the 7 rows are affected, and if we fire this query of select star, we will get to know that the row IDs are updated accordingly. All right, Now we will perform this delete operation, but before performing the delete operation, let's see what we get out of the inner query of this statement. So when we execute this statement, we will get to know that these are our unique key, and we do want to keep that with us and want to only remove the duplicate key and keep the unique one. So we will say, okay, we will not delete these, we will delete all except these. So if we fire this delete statement, so and then try to see the data, we will see that only unique records are present here. So this actually help us to clear the duplicates records from table, and once we are done with the operations, we can finally remove this row id, and so that our table looks like before and the data is perfect for our reporting. One more case study which I did is that this is for one uh, this is for simple primary key, but what if we have a composite key? So this row ID thing still works, but there is other way of also doing it, is that the statement something like where exist. So I have created one more table called marks by college, where I have introduced one more column as column ID, and then we have inserted these data for our analysis. Let's see what we got in the table. So alright, so we have this data and we can see that this is our duplicate record. Alright, so this is going to be our duplicate record, line number 1 and 4. So to delete this, we are using this where exist command. So first we have to find the duplicates records, before deleting it. So we can again simply use this inner query to understand what are our duplicate records, and then based on the output we will write the delete statement. Okay, let me see where it is going wrong. Okay, so here we can see that this is my duplicate student which I want to get rid of. So we can use this where exist command, and then we have to join this on two column, which is college ID and student ID, so that we are identifying these duplicates on two column, which is college ID and student ID. And if we delete this and then see what it got now, so here we can see that those two duplicate records are gone. But here again the same issue comes up, that what if we want to keep the unique records and only get rid of the additional duplicate? Then we have to follow the same approach which we have done in the previous case. So I will post all these query on my channel, and you can just copy it and then try to execute in your local to see how it works. Thank you.